Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight I've got a terrifying story about a mysterious path, a strange symbol in the fields, and a dark figure watching from the shadows. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss the next creepy story. Now, turn off the lights, get comfortable, and let's begin. Every summer, I return to my fields, the place where I grow watermelons. It's my escape, a kind of work that brings satisfaction and allows me to get away from the city for a few weeks. The road to the field has long become familiar. I know every turn, every bump on the dirt path, every old bush along the roadside. But this summer, something felt different. It all started one early morning as I was driving my pickup truck and noticed a path that had never been there before. At first, I thought it was just a new clearing or maybe someone had driven a tractor through. But the path looked too well trodden, as if it had been maintained for years. And the strangest thing, it seemed like it had always been there. Even though I'd driven this road every summer and never seen it. I stopped, got out of the truck, and took a closer look. The path led deeper into the fields, into an area where locals rarely go. The ground along it was slightly packed, but there were no fresh tracks, no signs of vehicles or people. The wind played with the grass, but there were no footsteps, no sounds. It all created a strange feeling, as if someone had just walked down the path. And yet, at the same time, it seemed like the path had always existed, like a part of the landscape. I got back in the truck, trying to calm myself. Summer, the solitude of the fields, the warmth, it was all supposed to be familiar, safe. But now, every time I passed by, I couldn't help but glance at the path, listen closely to the sounds around me, even though I knew no one ever walked there. For several days, I tried to find a logical explanation. Maybe someone from the neighboring farms had started using a shortcut through the fields. But the strange thing was that no one had been there in years. The neighbors just laughed when I told them about it. Don't worry about it. The fields always play tricks on your imagination. The wind, animals, grass, whatever you want. But one evening, I decided to stay on the field a little longer than usual, checking on the plants and preparing the irrigation lines. The sun was already setting, casting a warm, golden darkness across the road. I was getting into my truck to head home when, driving past that same path, I saw something that made my heart tighten. In the middle of the field, just off the path, stood a silhouette. At first, I thought it was just a tall bush or the shadow of a tree, but the figure was too upright, too steady to be a plant. It stood completely still, as if watching the road. There was something strange about it, not overtly supernatural, but something felt off. The pose was unnatural, and even a light gust of wind seemed to change the figure's outline, making it appear slightly taller or longer than a regular person. I jerked the steering wheel and looked ahead. A second later, I glanced back at the field, and the figure was gone. No sound, no movement, as if it had never been there. My heart was still pounding as I drove home with a lingering sense of unease that I couldn't explain. That evening, I thought long and hard about the path and what I had seen. Maybe it was just a trick of light, shadows, perspective. Maybe I was just tired after a long day, and my imagination had run with it. Or maybe it was someone from the area who had happened to walk across the field, and I just noticed the silhouette too late. But even days later, driving past that same path on my way home, I felt that the field looked a little different. The path now seemed like a permanent part of the landscape, and in the air hung a subtle but persistent sense that someone, or something, was watching, even if there was no one in sight. That feeling, the unease, the slight shiver, stayed with me throughout the summer, casting a mystic atmosphere over everything, even if it could all be explained logically. One day, I finally decided to walk the path myself. I'd driven past it so many times, always feeling a strange tension. I kept telling myself it was just light, or tiredness, or overthinking. But now, I was walking right down the center of it, each step on the slightly packed earth intensifying the anxiety, as if the path was leading me to something not meant for ordinary eyes. The field around me was flat and open, with no bushes or tall growth. Grass swayed in the wind, and the horizon stretched endlessly. I walked slowly, scanning the area, trying to understand the source of this strange feeling. The wind rustled the grass, the sun dipped lower, and long shadows slightly warped the perspective, creating a strange sense of depth and movement where there was none. I reached the end of the path, where it abruptly stopped in the middle of the field. On the ground was a drawing scratched into the dirt with a stick, a circle with branches, like some kind of message. I bent down to look closer, then raised my head. At first, all I saw was the empty, flat field, no movement. I scanned the horizon carefully, turning my gaze slowly, and then I saw a silhouette in the distance, at the edge of the trees. At first, I thought it was just a shadow or part of the tree line, but the longer I looked, the clearer it became. Taller than a regular person, shoulders slightly hunched, the posture strange, unmoving. It stood there as if watching my every move, and the sense of presence became almost tangible. My heart froze. I stood motionless, unable to look away. Minutes stretched out endlessly, as if time had slowed. The figure didn't move, didn't step forward, didn't vanish, and the field around us felt lifeless, except for that figure watching me. Finally, I took a deep breath, turned around, and began walking quickly, almost running, back toward the truck, glancing over my shoulder to make sure it wasn't following me. Every movement was filled with panic, my breathing ragged, but I couldn't let myself stop. When I reached the pickup, got in, and started the engine, my heart was pounding wildly. In the rearview mirror, I saw that the figure was still standing among the trees, unmoving, staring straight at me. I drove off the field and didn't dare look back again. By early September, I had harvested all the crops, sold them to the stores, and finally sold my fields near that place. I never wanted to return. The path, the drawing in the earth, and that strange silhouette left an indelible sense of unease and mystery. Even if it all could be explained rationally, I knew that place had become foreign to me forever.